Welcome to the final lab in this module. I'm Louise and Maurice, your leadership mentor during the Get Results Confidence Coaching Holistic Microlearning Program. In Lab 4, we focus on your practicum. You learn Step 5, how to end the session, then we move into how to apply what you learned, and then we wrap up the module with the lab report. Subscribers can share their answers, receive feedback, and interact with the community. Are you ready? Let's continue. It is really important for you to keep to the structure, especially if you are using a Zoom conference or any other program. If you're using this as a group, you're only allowed 40 minutes. So it's important for you to stick with that 40 minutes. However, you can adjust the timing. If you want to turn this into an hour session, that's perfectly fine. But you can tweak that timing. But if you have committed to a 40-minute session, that it's important to understand that you've got to end. But sometimes with step number 5, it might not be 5 minutes. It could be a couple of minutes. But always include step number 5 because this is the end frame. This is what we talk about in neuro-linguistic programming is you've ended the session. And step number 1 started the session, so they knew what they were going to go through. Well, in step number 5, we use the now, next, new. Again, this is the method that I developed for easily starting and ending a session. Very, very powerful because when you have succinct phrasing that is structured, it helps your client know, oh, okay, we're ending the session. But it also allows them to, now you know how to gauge success. You're telling them what they've just learned. Now you know. You didn't know this before you started the session, and now you know. It solidifies you as a confidence coach. It solidifies your expertise. The client begins to trust you more and more. And that's why it's always important. If you said it's going to be 40 minutes, keep it to 40 minutes. Next, in the next session on enter the date and time, we will look at, again, you're looking at the PDF document where I have everything mapped out for you. But it's important to get them to commit to the timing and the date of the next session. Typically, sessions are 1 week apart. And they're 1 week apart because you want your client to have enough time to implement what they've just learned. And when they go about their world, they're at work, they're in their home environment, whoever they live with, they can practice what they've learned. Those steps from step number 4, they can practice. But if you don't give them enough time, then they're never going to get the full value. All right, so always a week apart. And sometimes it might not be quite a week, it might be a little bit more or a little bit less, that's fine. But always allow them enough time to process what they've learned, to implement what they've learned. New. In the next session, yes, we're going to look at a new approach, a new session that's focused on your success. I'm going to send you another email, let them know what they can expect, and then you can prepare. Boom, it's done. Powerful. Because it sets them up for success, it sets you up for success. And I've allocated 5 minutes, but it might only be a couple of minutes if some of the other steps went a bit longer. All right, your opportunity to practice what you have just learned is important. In this lecture, we're going to talk about your level 1. non-mandatory practicum for session number 1. Now, I say non-mandatory because it's completely up to you. You might be taking this course because you want to improve your confidence. You want a little bit of coaching from me to move beyond some of the blocks and obstacles that have been stopping you. And that's perfectly fine. However, this becomes even more important for you to go through and practice just like you were a client. And that's how I want you to always see this. Take the time to coach yourself by completing every step in the session. It's important for you to move through, to answer those questions, because who you are right now, you got to gauge that. You've got to gauge your current reality. And that becomes your benchmark. You don't know how much you've improved if you don't have that current benchmark. And sometimes we stop ourselves from seeing where we're at. We don't want to really look at our inner world. We want to be able to blame everyone else. Now, that might be your situation. It might not be your situation, but I share this with you because I want you to be aware of your own inner blocks and obstacles. The more aware that you can be as a coach, the more aware you can guide your clients to become in a non-judgmental way. Remember, this isn't also about blaming our parents, our caregivers, and everyone who guided us in the best way possible to survive our world, our environment. They did the best that they knew how to do. And sometimes it works, but the people that are going to be coming to you for confidence coaching, it hasn't worked for them. It's actually been more of a hindrance. And this is where you have to be able to guide them, but you've got to be aware of yourself first. So take time to coach yourself. Now, what adjustments would you make, if any? You know yourself, you possibly might even know the people that you are going to be coaching. What adjustments would you make? This allows you to add additional questions and make some changes to that. And then number 3, practice your coaching skills with family and friends. I always say, if you can coach family and friends, you can coach anyone, because it's usually our family and friends that think that they have the green light to give us any type of feedback that they deem is going to be important for us to be successful. And quite often, a stranger would never give you that kind of feedback, but family and friends will. And if you can stand in confidence and you can allow that feedback in and take what is valuable and just toss aside what is not going to work for you, that's when you build your confidence muscle. Because that's when you fully understand that it's your standards that matter, not anyone else's standards. And that's why I highly recommend that you do practice with family and friends, because that is how you become proficient. Neurolinguistic programming is infamous for saying, well, all you got to do is watch people coach and watch them go through the process and then just fly into their body and pretend that you are them. Now, albeit there might be some merit to that. However, I have found when I'm coaching people or training people that all that does is serve to increase the more that they compare themselves to other people, and it stops them from truly being themselves. So what I want you to do is fly into your own body and be that confidence and develop your own sense of who you choose to be as a coach. I'll share more and more with you as we continue on. This is your lab report for Module 1, Session 1 of the Get Results Confidence Coaching. And this is where you get to gauge your performance. So the Gauge Lab report is going to provide you with a call to action because you just learned how important it is to apply what you've learned. And I would have talked to you about applying those 5 steps. But a common mistake I see for coaches and leaders is letting a session or meeting run 15 minutes over because they're afraid to interrupt. And this actually lowers perceived value. And with starting this session, you want to, yes, be friendly, but also show that you are the coach. You are leading this session. And that's where, with your lab report for this module, I want you to record yourself saying the now, next, and new intro and outro in the mirror until it feels natural, because this sets the benchmark. When you get comfortable with this very easy now, next, and new intro and outro, then it helps you. You're not reading from a script. And when you're not reading from a script and you're confident, that is going to really help you to show up different. All right, so for the second part, it is you've obviously prepared, you've downloaded the resources that I've provided for you, you've practiced, and you've performed in front of the mirror. You've practiced. Well, you're going to have to maybe do this a few times to see how you are progressing. But what did your lab report say? What was your benchmark? Did you measure your performance? Did you look and speak confident? Well, I want you to post done in the comments when you've practiced your mirror work and measured your performance. Remember, this truly is not about perfection, but it's about progress. And when you practice, you improve your confidence, looking and speaking confident. If you are subscribed to the @Louise and Maurice YouTube channel, you can share your answers, receive feedback, and interact with the community. Well, that wraps up our Module 1 for the Get Results Confidence Coaching, this holistic approach to gauging. Yes, but in Module 2, we will look at a new word and start with Lab 1, where you are introduced to a new case study. You do not want to miss it. I'll see you then.